Mic check 1 2. So a few of you have been asking me if I'm willing to sell my games or some of my games to viewers, or where I sell my games, or how you can buy some of the games in my collection. And to be honest, I've actually avoided a lot of those questions on purpose. A big part of the reason for that is that I never really want to combine like my YouTube with games that I'm selling or anything like that. I try to just keep the viewers of the viewers of the channel, and anyone that I sell to is probably going to be someone local. It'll probably be like a local mom and pop shop or someone that's already like in my network. I just try not to commingle the games that I sell with the viewers of the channel. And I hope that doesn't offend anyone. I appreciate everyone who's expressed interest in buying some of the games out of my collection. I've thought about doing the whole whatnot deal and stuff like that, but that's if I do choose to go that route. It's not a route that I'm going to be going anytime soon. I might reserve something like a whatnot for certain portions of my collection because my collection is a little bit all over the place. I do have obviously rare grail type of items, but I also have more common type of games, right? So, and not everything is built for whatnot. Not everything is built for eBay. Not everything is built to be sold online. Some things do better in a trade. Some things do better at a convention. Some things do better at a mom and pop shop. It really just depends on the type of game that you are trying to sell or get rid of. Nevertheless, again, I'm appreciative to everyone who's expressed interest in wanting to buy something out of my collection. Also, just shout out to everyone who's been following the page and who has been subscribed to the channel. I think we're at like almost 6,800 subscribers, if I'm not mistaken. So huge, man, huge. Just tremendous amount of progress with the channel. We're not a large channel by any means. Or a super channel. And I do know that I post a lot, right? Like I post 2, 3, sometimes 4 times in a day. But that's usually because a lot of these videos are really on the fly. Like as I'm walking around and going about my day, if I think of something that I just want to talk about for about 8 to 10 minutes, I'm just going to go ahead and post it because it's only 8 to 10 minutes out of my day. But I appreciate all of you who enjoy this type of content. It is the 1st of April. I'm not doing any April's Fools, so don't look to me for any kind of April's Fools stuff. I'm not doing that. But what I am doing with this second quarter is I am kind of bunkering down with the curation. Um, while my Switch collecting is still going to be kind of like a drip feed into my collection. I'm not buying a ton of Switch games, but I'm just kind of letting them trickle in. So you have that part of the game collecting, but then you also have this part where I am doing some curating. I am doing some selling slash trading. And I did some of that. Actually, I did more of that than I think a lot of the viewers realize in March. A lot of you remember in March, I picked up Popful Mail and I picked up Lunar, Silver Star. And these two games together have like a combined value of, I want to say, somewhere in the neighborhood of, let's say, $700 for these two games together. I traded away a good amount of games to get these two games. I did a lot of trading in March. $700. I had to trade away basically $700 worth of games. And when you're trading away more of the common titles, those games add up. So for those two games alone, I probably traded away about 20 to 25 games. It's a very similar story when it comes to Rule of Rose, Silent Hill Origins. For the only Silent Hill game that I actually paid for out of pocket in this collection is Silent Hill 2, which I got from Goodwill like 3 or 4 years ago. Every single one of these games were done with trades. So to get all of these Silent Hill games, to get Popful Mail and Lunar and plenty of other rare and expensive games in the collection, I've had to trade away 50 or so games, which is cool. You know, it's totally fine by me because most of those games were picked up during GameStop buy two get ones. So a good chunk of those, at least a third of the games that I traded away, were free to begin with. The rest of those games were probably 30 to 40% off when you consider just the different promotions and things like that. So for me, April is going to be kind of a continuation of that, where I'm doing more curating, I'm doing more just kind of bunkering down. Really, I'm going to be real picky, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm going to start to get very, very picky with the games that I add into the collection and what I am choosing to collect. It's gonna get that way. So I did just want to say, for anyone who feels like trading games away or selling games or curating a collection, if you feel like that's reselling and reselling really offends you, by all means, you can stop watching this channel. You're free to go. You're free to go do or watch whatever else you want to watch. I think in 2025, people have to stop being so emotional these um about video games. Stop being so damn emotional. People see things on YouTube about how people navigate collecting and how they curate their collection, and they get like really in their feelings and emotional about things like resellers. One thing about Heck and Steve, yes, does Heck and Steve roast resellers? Yeah, he sure does. You're damn straight. He roasts resellers all the way, all through and through. He roasts them. But one of the things that I've noticed that he said is that he's not taking it personally. Like Heck and Steve is actually a character. He's playing up a character. He doesn't actually genuinely feel that way about resellers. Does he like the fact that resellers have increased the price of games overall? No, he doesn't. But he's not having a genuine emotional reaction to resellers. At least I don't think he is. But what I see is that I see people in the comments have these really emotional reactions to resellers, and they get mad and in their feelings, as if getting mad and getting upset is going to stop resellers from reselling. It's not going to stop it. And to be quite honest with you, resellers they've actually become a fundamental part of the collecting community. They really have. Like when you buy a game from eBay, who do you think you're buying it from? If you buy a game off of Mercari, who do you think you're getting it from? When you go to your mom and pop shop, where do you think half of the games in your mom and pop shop are coming from? They're coming from resellers. So people act like you know, they can absolutely avoid resellers from the perspective of collecting. And I guess you can, if you're choosing to only shop at yard sales, if you're choosing to only shop at thrift stores, or if you're only planning on buying brand new games, modern games, then maybe you can avoid them. But you can't avoid them, right? Do I like price gouging? No. Do I like slime ball activity? No. But I do understand that resellers as a whole are a fundamental part of video game collecting in 2025. And whether you like it or not, they're here to stay. So get over it, right? Like, get over it now. Um, I think it's okay to criticize bad practices, right? Because you do have different types of resellers. You have resellers who do the right thing, who resell games at fair market prices, who do fair trade deals. And I know because I interact with them. You have fair resellers out there. You have resellers that are actually doing good for the community by finding games for really cheap prices and then reselling them at fair prices. Not everybody is Phoenix Resale. Not everybody is Chase. Not everybody selling on Amazon. You do have some resellers who are helping to push the gaming community forward and who are also helping to keep prices where they are. They're not going to lower prices, and I wouldn't expect a reseller to sell a game at a loss. But when you have resellers who are fair and just and are doing right by the community and are helping collectors get the games that they need for their collections at fair prices, I don't see anything wrong with that. So, again, when you see slimeball resellers, when you see scumbag resellers, when you see resellers who do wrong by the community, I'm all for chastising those guys. But overall, I think resellers are still a fundamental part of the community. And I'm going to be engaging with those guys because honestly, I can't do the deals that I want to do at a mom and pop shop or at a GameStop, because most mom and pop game stores, retro game stores, and most Game Stops are going to give me pennies on the dollar for some of the games that I want to trade for. Whereas a reseller, they're going to actually give me fair market value. So, you know what? Shout out to the resellers. And if that pisses you off, then goodbye, right? If you can't listen to what I'm saying and use context and understand the point that I'm making, then it's time for you to go anyway, because we can't just paint with a broad brush and say everyone is the same and get emotional. Stop getting emotional, guys. It's the second quarter of 2025. Retro game collecting has changed. A lot of things are still changing. Prices are still changing, and you got to adapt. That's it. Don't get emotional. Adapt. And that does it for me with this morning's rant. I'll be back with a video this afternoon. I've got a lot of things to knock out today. Running a bunch of errands, doing a bunch of things. So I'm sure I'll be touching base with you all later on today. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.